Hi, you're listening to Abbacadabra Radio. This podcast is for my conscious creator friends, my manifesting besties. This is part stream of consciousness, part talking with people who love to talk about conscious creation, manifestation, spiritual things, anything in between. And it is my hope that through this podcast, I expand my own awareness and understanding of myself, and you guys do too. I am happy to have you guys here along for the ride. Hello, my conscious creator friends. Welcome back to yet another episode of Abbacahdabrapod Radio. I'm Abby, your host, and I am so happy that you're here. As always, you can find the blueprint, my 30-day alignment method for manifestation. You can find my timeline shifting audio, the opening up to money masterclass, the hypnosises for love, money, identity shifting, and sign up for reality creation consulting, one-on-one, talking you and me about what you're creating, about what you're navigating in your reality. You can sign up for that all on the website. So definitely go check out if you're interested in any of those things. Now into the episode. Okay, so you guys know I record this podcast on a whim. It's Tuesday when I'm recording this. I have every intention of editing it and getting it out today because I am feeling a lot of things. I have other episodes I could put out, but I'm just feeling like I need to talk in front of the camera and go through my experiences with consciousness, manifestation, my reality, the eclipse season, the full moon, all of the everything that's been going on. Because if I'm feeling what I've been feeling, I'm sure there are other people who this is going to resonate with and it might help them. And ultimately, I'm trying to help people navigate reality. That's my goal. I am in an ever-evolving process of doing that, just like you guys are. And I find the more that we talk about our experiences, the more it gives other people the opportunity to understand their experience in a different way that they might not have before. So that's why I have this podcast. That's why I do this. That's why I work with people, and I love doing it. So here we go. Something that I heard earlier today that really stuck with me is it's not about the future, it's about the now. And lately, I have been really feeling that, like, we're not creating in the future. Like, when you get into manifesting, it's, like I've said often, when you get into manifesting, it's really easy to get really caught up in the material things and like, ooh, I want that car, so I'm going to write it 55 times and then it's going to appear. It doesn't work that way. Creation's already finished. Reality's already finished. All of those timelines already exist. So it's not even about creating anything. There's nothing to create. There's nothing to create. I talk about conscious creation. There's nothing to create. We are aligning. We are making the invisible visible. And that all has to do with the frequency of where you're at. Like I was saying, when you start manifesting, it's really fun to think like, oh, I can create and align with all these really fun physical things, all these material objects. And that has its place. But it's important to remember that your material objects and the things that you experience in your 3D reality, they're not the experience. The experience is the experience. The material thing is not the experience. The person is not the experience. It's what you learn. It's what you feel. It's what you embody as you're in that 3D reality, as you're moving through that opportunity, as you're in that relationship. That's what matters. That's what we're ultimately, like, I think, moving towards. Less about the material, more about the internal experience. And lately, I have had, this morning, I hit a moment where, and it could be my age, I'm, like you guys know, I'm 29. Part of this, I think, is just the age that I'm at, but I think also collectively, I think we are headed this way where those material things that I set out to have, I've noticed for me a lot of the times when I find myself looking for those things, because I look for the things that I want to have in my reality. Sometimes I'm not a pro at this. I get frustrated. I get upset. I feel like I'm less than. I feel like I'm worthless. I feel like I don't deserve those things. That's happened. I'm not going to say that hasn't happened. That's been a battle that I've gone through my entire life, in and out. Navigating reality more consciously has helped me move through those moments a lot faster and not put so much blame on myself for so long. Because where I'm at right now, where I'm at this morning, where I'm at presently, is the things that are working for me now, the material objects enhance them, but they're not making them. Literally yesterday, I was at my sister's house, and she has 2 young kids, and they're wonderful, and I love them with my whole heart, and I love her with my whole heart, just like my whole family. And she wanted to go around and everybody was going to say what they were grateful for. And that was awesome because I haven't seen that. Not to say that that doesn't happen in her experience, in her reality. I haven't been there in those moments to see that happen. So I always get excited when I see people like leaning into gratitude. And I noticed everything that people were grateful for didn't have to do with material things. It had to do with family. It had to do with support. It had to do with love. It had to do with health. All of those things are not material. All of those things are experiences, experiencing health, experiencing support, experiencing love, experiencing ease. The material enhances that. I get that. And something that I guess this whole life experience I've been moving through is, if I can separate myself from the material objects that I want, and it's good to have goals, and I'm not saying don't have goals. They help us stay motivated. They help us like do things every day. Their goals are great. Wanting to attract material possessions is great. Again, I'm not against that. So I don't want you guys to think I'm against that, but I'm more in the internal, in the now, not in the what am I creating for the future? Good to have, but what am I experiencing right now? Because that's what's most important. You can work yourself up thinking that you might experience something you don't like in the future. You can work yourself up thinking you might experience something wonderful in the future, but ultimately, we're not creating in the future. We're aligning now. We're attracting now. We are having experiences now. So I'm in this place of playful curiosity, of wonder, of honestly, I'm really trying to just, if I'm in a conversation with someone, stay as present as I can, which I can do really well sometimes, and other times not so much. It depends on what the conversation's about. It depends on where I'm at. It depends on where the person's at. It depends on what unfolds. But I'm trying to like really not stay so zoomed out of the big picture of life, of the big picture of where am I headed? What about this? What about kids? What about the future? And more of like, okay, I'm navigating this person who's going through something now. I'm navigating this thing that's unfolding right now. I'm navigating this block that I have put up for myself now. And another thing that I've been navigating a lot is inner child healing and giving to myself my child version of me, because that version of me still shows up, just like the adolescent version of me, the mid-20s version of me, the early 20 version of me. They're all still there. They're all still inside me. They're all still a part of me. And they're all experiencing things too. And it's probably because of the eclipse season. There's a lot coming up. There is a lot coming up. And this past weekend, I, for the first time in a long time, had quite a sad, very melancholy feeling, very like defeated and done for a couple of days. And I've been in those before. I've been in them for long periods of time. Anyway, not recently though. But I'm navigating as a 29-year-old version of me, as a 5-year-old version of me, as a 15-year-old version of me, a lot of different experiences. And I've had some not so great potentials pop up, and I had the opportunity to react out of fear. I had the opportunity to react out of anger, out of frustration, out of child Abby, out of adolescent Abby, out of Abby now. And what I'm understanding about myself is that when I can give to my younger selves the things that I was searching for as that young self, and this is not me blaming my parents, this is not me blaming teachers, this is not me blaming my siblings, I'm not blaming anybody for my experiences. If I can give myself the message that I needed to receive as a child, that ultimately only I'd be able to give myself anyway, that's enough for me. And that's something that I'm really working through. That's your shadow. That's shadow work. That's when you navigate, like I've had moments, a few moments in the last few months where I'm showing up as like fully childlike me and reacting in a way that's like very childlike. I'll just be honest. I know I've said this before. That's okay. And I'll notice that and then say, okay, what does that version of me need? And I even wrote a letter to myself last week, like my child version of me went into a meditation where I like really went into that child me and read the letter. And one of the things that I said to myself that I needed to hear as a child was just because you're not first doesn't mean you're not worthy. Just because you did it last doesn't mean anything about you at all. It's your own experience. It doesn't matter. Because when I was a kid, I had a tendency to rush through things. I rushed through every test because I just wanted to be done first. I wanted to be the first in line. I wanted to be first. And it was something that my teachers would bring it up to my parents a lot. This is based on conversations I've had with them as an adult. And they were like, yeah, they would say, like, you're rushing too much and you need to slow down. And all I heard was, you're rushing too much and you need to slow down. You're rushing too much and you need to slow down. And what I understand now, it took me, 15, 20 years to get here. What I needed to hear in that moment, again, not blaming my parents, not blaming a teacher, it doesn't matter. It's okay if you're not first. It doesn't mean you're not worthy if you're not first. And that's stuck with me a lot recently, because there are things where I feel like I'm behind in life if I look at like what other people are doing, and when you start comparing your life to another person's life. And to be able to like find that trigger to go into that version of me and then become that like beacon of the message that I needed to hear, that's enough for me. And I have found a lot of comfort in that, and I have found a lot of peace in that. And now I know, okay, when I start reacting from that way, I can remind myself, like, that doesn't mean this. That means this. Like, you're still worthy, even if you don't have that thing, even if you haven't done that yet, like, that's okay. Because I don't know how everything's supposed to play out in my reality. I just know what I'm experiencing now. I just know what I'm experiencing in the present. So a lot of this probably feels like it's all over the place. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Like I said earlier, we are in eclipse season right now, and it was a full moon. So there's a lot of shadow coming up. For you, that might be your inner child. It might be your inner adolescent. It might not be that at all. It might be old limiting beliefs. It might be lack-based programming that you're just saying, okay, I don't need to dive into that anymore. That's something I've operated at for a while, and now it doesn't feel good to think that way about myself. It doesn't feel good to think that way about my reality. What feels better? What can I change? And I think you're going to see a lot of people in the next few weeks have moments like this, moments where I'm where I'm at. What can I do to enhance? What can I do to experience better for me? What does that look like for me? What do I need from me? That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of, what do I need from me? The people outside of you, again, they're great. They enhance your reality. They make it better. They can make it a lot better. But ultimately, you are the only person who will be able to give you that sense of security, that sense of worth, that sense of health, that sense of ease, like whatever it is. The outside will reflect it. The outside can contribute to it. But if you, as a being, don't feel like you are worthy, you can have someone scream in your face that you're worthy a million times and you'll never take it in. It won't land. You'll hear it and then you'll doubt it. You'll hear it and then you'll say no. You'll hear it and then you'll be bashful. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. If so, like, think about when someone compliments you. A lot of the times we say, oh no, no, take the compliment. Take the compliment, let it land. And if it's not landing, that's okay. Ask yourself why. Is there a part of me that's afraid to show up this way? Is there a part of me that's afraid to be seen this way? You know, something that I've been really caught up in lately is other people's perception of me, because I know I'm great. I know I'm fun. I know I have a lot to offer people. But if I see or feel that someone outside of me doesn't feel that way, then I start to panic. And then I start to worry. And then I'm like, how can I micromanage how this person thinks, feels, and acts about me to make me feel like I'm fine, worthy, healthy, whatever? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense. But I know I am not the only person who has done that. I know I'm not the only person who's going to do that. And I know sometimes I'm still going to do that. But all of this to say, during the next few weeks, pay attention to what's coming up. During the next few weeks, check in with your inner child. Check in with the versions of yourself that you've already experienced. And ask that version, what do you need? What do you need from me now? What did you need from the adults when you were younger? What did you need from your peers when you were younger that you can give yourself? And I know that sounds weird, and I know that sounds like probably corny to some people, but at this point, we're this far into the podcast, so if you're still here, probably sounds pretty like, oh yeah, let me do that. Write a letter to yourself. Go into a meditation and connect with that version of you. If you need help, let me know. Let me know, because I want to help people get to this place where, and again, I'm not a pro at it. I'm not a pro at anything. And I'm never going to claim to be a pro at anything. I'm just experiencing what I'm experiencing and sharing it with you guys. Today and lately, I've had that smoke clearing. I can't create in the future. I'm not creating for the future. I'm creating for now. I'm aligning now. I'm only in this now. And when you can become that calmer, slower, you guys know I've been trying to slow down a little bit. When you can come from that place, there's ultimate power. There really is. And it's not an ultimate power of like, I'm controlling everything. It's an ultimate power of shit's gonna hit the fan sometimes. Things aren't gonna be great sometimes. Gonna go through loss. Gonna go through grief. Some of it's gonna be expected. Some of it's not. But what I've learned is that even those dark times, even those terrible times, you're going to survive them. You're going to survive them. You're going to be okay. When you can give that to yourself from you, that's when it's going to land. You can hear me say it a million times, but practice saying to yourself those few things. Like, do it in the mirror. I promise it's going to like feel probably weird at first, but get in the habit of reminding yourself you're supported. You've got your own back. You do. Nobody else can 100%, but you can 110%. You can give yourself all of those things that you're waiting for everybody else to give you, all of those feelings that you're waiting to experience. You can do that. You can have that. I think that's everything. Okay, my friends. As you know, the email's here, but you can also email me at abbacahdabrapod@gmail.com. I have that in the show notes. Check out the website. Yeah. Okay, my lovelies. Until next time, this is Abby, signing off.